Caviar, also known as black gold, comes from sturgeon.
This is the most expensive fish in the world. There's only 3 farms in the world that actually have these.
The eggs of this fish, called as roe, sells for thousands of dollars per kilogram and is harvested on a farm. Each year, 28 tons of caviar are produced. But how is caviar made? We visited a sturgeon fish farm to find out the process of crafting this luxurious delicacy. Caviar is a delicacy made from the eggs of a female sturgeon, destined to be savored by rich palates. Sturgeon is a fish that resides in temperate or cold waters. 90% of the world's caviar production comes from the Caspian Sea basin, with about half of it from Iran. During the French Revolution, chefs began using it in their recipes, marking the onset of its popularity. Over time, this culinary delight gained favor with the noble class in the 20th century. Despite its historical journey, it remains a nearly inaccessible food for many people worldwide. Despite advances in agriculture, fishing, and production technology, the practice of collecting fish roe has not changed much, and methods are passed down from generation to generation. Today, the caviar production process is very similar in many parts of the world, but producers have chosen to apply their own methods using processing plants with the goal of offering quality caviar, always meeting health standards. The traditional technique has become somewhat controversial as it involves the sacrifice of the fish to harvest their eggs. Although the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea produced much of the world's caviar for a long time, farm-produced caviar has now become popular due to the decline in wild sturgeon populations due to overfishing. Sturgeon is one of the oldest species on the planet. For years, Caspian Sea sturgeons were captured without any control, leading to the overexploitation of the species to near extinction. The scarcity of this fish makes caviar prices very high, and only a few can afford to consume it. Sturgeons reach maturity living in outdoor pools. Once the appropriate time has passed, they are transferred to the necessary facilities. These fish can grow up to 5 meters and live up to 175 years, but it is their roe that makes them the most valuable fish. They are monitored using ultrasounds to determine when their eggs are ready for collection. Depending on the size of the fish, a sturgeon can release several million eggs at once. Once they are ready, the fish are sacrificed to extract their roe. This process takes only a few minutes. Over 10,000 sturgeons are bred on this farm every year. Today, most consumed and commercialized caviar comes from natural water farms adapted for sturgeon cultivation. The gestation period of this fish is between 15 and 20 years. Sturgeon caviar comes in different varieties, with the most expensive produced costing $5,700 per kilogram. It is seen by many as a sign of wealth and a true delicacy. They undergo careful monitoring from birth until the roe extraction, replicating its natural life cycle without the presence of predators. This careful approach enables precise control over nutrition and water quality. In the farm, you can find 3,000 sturgeons of different ages and sizes, from 1 year to 20 years, with a maximum weight of up to 60 kilograms. The fry are fed high-protein pellets, and sturgeon breeding needs to be constantly fed to grow. A computerized system dispenses food every 4 minutes as the fish grows. After 7 years of growth, they measure at least 1 meter long and should be full of roe. The females are then transferred to tanks where a sleep-inducing gas is used to put them to sleep, facilitating their handling and transportation to the ultrasound machine. Ultrasounds are used to assess the optimal condition of the female sturgeon for the extraction of roe. At the right moment, each sturgeon typically yields between 10 and 12% of its weight in roe. While it takes a decade to obtain the finest caviar from a sturgeon, these fish prove valuable to farmers much earlier. By the age of 5, females are already brimming with eggs, although these cannot be processed into caviar tins. Instead, they are utilized for breeding the next generation of sturgeons. The challenge is to extract the eggs without harming the valuable fish. They are transferred to a warehouse, where a thorough ultrasound scan is conducted to assess the health of their eggs. Workers make a small incision in the belly to release their valuable eggs. The process of breeding the eggs begins by mixing them with the sperm of a male sturgeon. Once the eggs hatch, the larvae are taken to fresh water to grow. Sturgeons take between 8 and 20 years to produce their eggs, depending on their species. At the top of the chain, is the beluga sturgeon, which takes 20 years to mature. The sturgeon is sacrificed, its belly is opened, and the roe sac is carefully extracted. The roe undergoes a meticulous sorting process based on size, firmness, and appearance before being prepared for processing and market distribution. The ovaries, filled with roe, are cleaned and transported in a bag to a refrigerated room with filtered air. This is just one of the 2 ovaries of a Siberian sturgeon. This cluster of eggs will become caviar. They are extremely fragile and require very careful handling to separate them from the membrane. This worker carefully floats the roe against a metal mesh, removes the tissue that will be used for compost, and lifts the screen, revealing the thousands of delicate eggs. Later, they are quickly rinsed with cold water to remove any impurities, such as remnants of broken eggs or tissue residue. Using tweezers, any pieces of membrane and broken roe are meticulously removed until the roe reaches a state of purity and perfection. The cleaned roe is then poured into a fine sieve, the drained caviar is weighed, and salt is added in a precise ratio of 35% of the caviar's weight. This exact measurement not only enhances the aroma of the caviar, but also significantly prolongs its shelf life. Later, the roe is put on ice for about 6 minutes to absorb the salt. The salt absorbs more moisture, so it is drained once again. Excess moisture is carefully removed with a paper towel. The caviar is then packed into a tin and compressed to eliminate any air pockets that may lead to oxidation or deterioration. In large-scale commercial industries, this process is conducted in a vacuum to prevent the mixing of caviar from different specimens. Each tin receives a label specifying the batch of that fish and its subsequent marketing date. All packaged caviar is stored in a refrigerated chamber. The design of these cans has remained relatively unchanged in recent years, contributing to the preservation and maturation process without incurring losses. The cans are filled with a precise quantity of eggs, and the lid is pressed to extract air, compacting the eggs into a block. Crushing the eggs serves the purpose of eliminating any air bubbles, as their presence can impact the quality of the product. The lid is then sealed with a robust rubber band, ensuring the vacuum is maintained until the moment of commercialization. If you want to know how Doritos are made, watch the video on your screen, and please like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with someone who might be interested. Also, subscribe to this channel by activating the notifications to continue learning. Thanks for watching.